everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Panthers TV, here with me, Sam Hurst, as we look ahead to that huge game on Saturday against the Sheffield Steelers. Now, Saturday nights here at the Motorpoint Arena are always special, but there is that little bit of extra spice when we welcome our arch rivals from up the M1. Why don't we kickstart our weekend preview by speaking to your assistant coach, Linton Grant.
Linton Grant joins us pre-game, looking ahead to the weekend. Linton, let's go back though to the weekend. I wonder how important the coaches felt it was to stop that losing streak. No teams like a losing streak, but how important do you think it was to stop it, and in the manner you did it?
Yeah, you never want to, I think I said it to somebody after the game, you never want your kind of valleys to be too low and you never want your peaks to be too high, sort of thing. So if we could end that streak when we did, that was a good one. And then especially doing it against like the likes of Cardiff as well, that's a big one. It helps us kind of stay in that hunt and the chase for those top spots as well. Cardiff obviously sitting top right now, so in times you can steal points from them. So obviously a really, really good weekend for you. And then not an easy ring to go into for Fife as well, especially after the week that we had been in Dundee the weekend before, Guildford midweek, and then going up to Fife. It was nice just to take those 2 points in whatever fashion you could get them in, really. So yeah, it was massive to end that streak when we did, and hopefully we can try and keep things going here.
Just going back to the Cardiff game, how did you keep the guys focused? Obviously, Cardiff were just stuck on the bus. They couldn't do anything else. But, you know, obviously when the news came in that there was going to be delays, you know, your plans must all change. And how hard was it to keep everyone focused?
So I think the big thing is you just got to try and let the guys do their thing, like, and help them get to their best kind of mental space, I think. So for us, it was letting them kind of relax and kind of just let their mind at ease. I think there's maybe even like the NHL Finland game going on. So like, I think a lot of guys just try and remove themselves from that delay sort of thing and just basically hang out as the boys around the locker room, really, is the big thing. For us as coaches, it was nice and easy because when it came game time, they were ready to go. And I think the little delay kind of helped having the fans in there. I think this is twice now against Cardiff that it's happened, and I think the boys enjoy having the fans in the stands for Cardiff. So,
what about the Fife game? Obviously, it was a very different type of game. You had to dig deep to win the game. Obviously, not a team high up the standings, but you know, what does that say again about the character that? Some people will say, well, you haven't blown away a team at the bottom of the standings, but I can flip it on its head a bit there and just say, once again, it was a topsy-turvy game. Do you look at the character of the team to see that they're getting over the line in these type of games?
Yeah, you make a good point there, really. That in reality, it's a kind of a test of kind of mental ability. And like especially with the game ending so late as it did against Cardiff, and then trying to get on the bus for 7:30 in the morning, and then you've got a day's full of travel, like it's, as I said, and then you combine it with the week that we had, yeah, like I think a lot of people will kind of write off Fife just because of where they are in the standings, but I've said it in a couple of interviews, they're professional hockey players for a reason. There's a reason why they have that professional contract. And there's no team, it just goes to show that there's no team that you can really take too lightly in this league, really. As I said, pushing us to a shootout sort of thing, and they had their own travel as well. They'd just come in from Belfast and everything, so as I said, it's just more of a testament to the kind of parity of the league that they pushed us as far as they did, and as I said, all credit to them. But yeah, it's good mental fortitude from our guys just to turn around after that short night on Cardiff and get it going.
Sheffield on Saturday, basically it's a sellout with the odd single seat spare. How excited do you think the boys are and the coaching staff to have that atmosphere and that big game to really test yourselves against one of the top teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good time when you're playing Sheffield, right? It's when, especially for the Nottingham Sheffield rivalry, it always brings out the best out of each fan base. So I think the boys will be buzzing, ready for it. And me and Danny were talking about it in the locker room. You know, we'd like to see this streak come to an end, just to put it behind us. Even Danny says he's got a bit of one going from Coventry as well, so he likes to see that one end. So, yeah, I think it's easy to get up for these games. It's not one of those ones where you got to drag yourself out of bed for it. You know, when it's Sheffield, you got a good test on your hands. And if we can play like we did against Cardiff, I think we put ourselves in a really good spot to give it a good run.
Is it as well about controlling the emotion on the bench? Because for this game, there's going to be a lot of emotion, the crowd, the noise, just the magnitude of playing the rivals. So is maybe managing a game against your rivals in a big game, Is it any different to maybe a Wednesday night away somewhere? Is there any difference?
Yeah, obviously it's always going to, like any time you're playing your rival, you're always going to get that extra little gear too, yeah. One of the things that we've been saying is do you want to be a welder's torch or a wildfire sort of thing? So obviously with the welder's torch, it's precise, you're going in there with a purpose and you're going to commit to that mission sort of thing. Wildfire, you're just running around headlessly and you're a bit of a hazard out there sort of thing. So I said if we can be that welder's torch this weekend, we set ourselves up again in a really good position to navigate the ebbs and flows of the game and put ourselves in our best possession.
Brilliant, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
The atmosphere is sure to be electric here at the Motorpoint, with hopefully a capacity crowd. And one man that has played plenty of Panthers Steelers clashes is our defenceman Josh Tetlow. Why don't we hear from him now?
Josh Tetlow joins us on Panthers TV. Josh, looking ahead to the weekend, Sheffield Steelers, basically the arena's sold out. How excited are you and the team for this game?
Yeah, it's always massive. I mean, everyone's excited. We're excited already. We all know how important these games are, and we know how long the streak's kind of been going. So yeah, we're up for it for sure.
I'm not going to talk about the streak of not winning, but I wonder how much you take from those recent games when you've driven them really close, how much confidence you take from them that you can match one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, you can definitely take confidence, and I think we know we can play with them, but it's also just so frustrating because, you know, we know we can beat that team, but it's just a case of following through with it. So it's almost kind of, you want to take the moral victories, but it's almost past that point now where we need to win. So yeah.
And what about the start of the season? You're basically there in the Challenge Cup in the knockout stages. The league form's obviously been up and down, but I wonder how you assess where the team is at the moment.
I think we're going in the right direction. I think this week we obviously didn't start off the way that we wanted to, but I do believe it takes a lot of character to sort of come back and finish the week how we did, and that's really that's really big for our group to kind of bond us together, to know that we can go through the ups and downs. It's big to go through that as a team, especially got to go to Scotland on Sunday. That's never easy. So I think we're finished in the right way and we're going in the right direction.
And just finally, you talk about those bonds, and I wonder how important they were. As you say, you had those run of defeats, but then turned it round against Cardiff and Fife. How important that togetherness is to kind of get yourself out of a rut.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just knew what we had to do, and you know, we said, especially with Saturday, the delays and everything, we said we have to respond better than Cardiff do, and that's what we aim to do, control what we can control, and that was the best way that kind of we went about it.
Just the one game for the Panthers this weekend, but of course it is a big one. We can't wait to see as many of you guys here at the Motorpoint Arena. And remember, don't forget to head to our pre-game show at Saltbox that starts at 5 p.m. This week's guest is going to be Panthers legend David Clark. It's not one you're going to want to miss. We'll see you on Saturday.